we don't really need a Han Solo spoiler cast.
I've been literally having conversations with Nolan over here, and Felk's been like quiet, like barely. And Felk, did you see the movie?
Yes, but I saw it last night.
Okay.
That was a long pause.
Yeah, I wanted to keep you in suspense.
Live from Cool Boys Central.
Be the boss down there. I'm boss up here.
Hold your dicks and rub your tits.
You'll be ice cold.
Here come the Cool Boys.
Just a young boy.
So cool.
So cool. So cool.
Oh, it's Cool Boys.
Oh my God, asked so many questions during Last Jedi. She's like, wait, what's going on? Wait, why can't he do that? Wait, what's going on with Luke Skywalker? Wait, why is Luke Skywalker dying?
Why didn't the pink hair lady explain her plan?
She loved, okay, don't get me wrong, she loved The Last Jedi, but she spent most of the movie asking me questions. She did not ask any questions throughout any other Star Wars film. Last Jedi, she's like, wait, what's going on?
Yeah.
Wait, why are they hurting the horsies? Like, it was just like all this, like, wait, what's going on with this movie? But she loved it. She fucking loved it.
Too much adult territory for her asking the tough questions. What is gay? What is gay?
Yeah, it was everything was tough. Why did Holdo shoot herself or launched herself or whatever? It's like, yeah, that was cool looking, right?
Why didn't she do that?
But why did she do it? Like, to save everybody?
To establish that heroically sacrificing yourself to win the war is a good thing, and then 5 minutes later, another character tries to do that, and he stopped because that's not how you win wars. You win wars by saving the things you love, not by fighting the things you hate.
Exactly.
The movie conflicts itself quite a bit.
Let the past die.
Greetings, Schoolboy Nation, and welcome to a special installment of the Cool Boys Podcast. I'm Fisherwoman Felk, and I don't know what that means.
Neither do I.
Fisherwoman, Fisherwoman. She's one of the uncredited characters from Solo, the movie we're talking about. She was played by Joe Wheatley. Everyone knows this.
Who was fishing in that movie? There's no one fishing in that movie.
No, maybe she's just someone walking by. I don't even know what scene she's in.
Sure, it's not Fishwoman?
It's an F. It was that or female guest. That were literally the two F characters. Well, I'm Beckett Ballard because once again, bees get the best names.
They do.
Be better.
It
Be
just
best.
flows off the tongue like a butthole.
Beckett Ballard.
And let me see if I can even pronounce this. I'm Infus Nest Noli. And
And once again, no N's. So you got someone with a prominent N name, at least.
Gotcha. Is it Infus? Infus Nest?
Enfys, I thought. But yeah, Enfys Nest, I think that's what
So
you
the
said
whole movie,
practically.
I thought it was the gang was named Infus Nest. I didn't know it was a person.
No, the gang was the Cloud Riders. But
The
we shouldn't say
Cloud
anything
Riders.
else because that might be spoilers.
It's time for
Spoilers. Sizzle. Sizzles. Oh, shit.
So cool.
So cool.
This episode, we will be discussing Star Wars again and all the fabulous boners it has given us. So we will forego our Cool Boy updates and get right into Solo, a Star Wars story. And how unnecessary it is. I guess that's a Ballard opinion that got put into my mouth.
Whoa.
Although I think it's unnecessary too. I kind of agree with that one.
I would say if you like it or you hate it, it's absolutely unnecessary.
Is this photo of Harrison Ford shirtless real?
You tell me, Felk.
I mean, that's about right. That's about what I'd imagine.
What are you looking at, Felk? And don't forget to mention the package.
That's his hot bod, but when did he ever have a mustache like that? What role was that for?
I don't know if this is for a role. This
I think that might just be for Harrison Ford. Yeah.
So this is Harrison, let me say, he's like 44 years old here, maybe, looking great. Fabulous
I think
bod.
he's what? This is 93, 92, 93?
Yeah, so
Oh.
he's in his 40s around then.
Yeah. Thrawn.
No, I'm saying he's 19. He's like not 1992. I'm saying like he's 92 years old, 93 years old around here.
Oh, yeah. He's looking like he's got a nice package down there. Like the
Yeah, look
pants
at
are
that.
full.
Did he have a mustache in Regarding Henry?
He's filling the jeans in. That's all I gotta say.
No.
There's a giant package and it's FedExing to me. Oh wait, that's Tom Hanks. Never mind. That would be Castaway. Harrison was in something like that, right? What was Harrison Ford in? He was in some kind of 6 Days and 7 Nights.
Oh God, I forgot about that movie with Anne Hesh.
Mm-hmm. Anne Heche.
It was that's one of those movies where it's an excuse. Let's just go to Hawaii for 6 months. Let's just do it.
Let's just do it.
We'll build a story. We got something.
I'm sorry.
You're kissing me?
No, for this.
Harrison Ford.
I really liked kissing you.
Anne Heche.
If I start, I'm not going to be able to stop.
That's good.
Isn't it?
6 days, 7 nights.
Some sort of creature has just swum up my pants.
That's bad.
And you like sucking dick. And why don't you come with me to the Hawaiian Islands and you can suck all the dicks?
Anne Heche is famous for being a lesbian.
Yeah, how was she in that movie? How did she ever become famous?
They were trying to make her famous for a little while because she was in Volcano as well.
So she started eating pussy by Ellen DeGeneres.
Not true. That's impossible.
Okay, well, the first up on the agenda is a quick Cool Boy rating of past a Star Wars story films in franchise. Oh, no. We're rating all of them.
No, we're not.
No, we've done that. No, we're just rating on Rogue One. And just so we can say Rogue One, talk about Rogue One real quick. That's all this is. I give that you know what? Cool Boy Nation, our Cool Boy ratings fluctuate. We're not always the same. Check it, play back the audio, I'm sure.
No.
But I would say maybe 2 out of 5 now for Rogue One is how I feel.
It used to be what, 1?
Maybe 1. I think it may have been a 1, but I think now I'm 2 out of 5. And the reason is it's a fucking killer third act. I love that third act. It is fucking awesome.
It is.
I give it 1 boy. I think it is one of the most boring mainstream summer blockbusters I think I've ever seen. And then it becomes Star Wars porn at the very end.
It does. That's a great way to put it. But that porn is really good.
That's fine, but porn is meant to be watched for 15 minutes when you jack off on your laptop. Same as
Fuck that. I love 45-minute porn, 60-minute porn.
I love a nice 45-minute stroke session. You know, like
Yeah.
you're about to come, you just fucking stop. You wait 15 minutes, you sit back, you watch
That's
something
right.
else, and you come back to your porn. You fucking start stroking
That's
it
exactly
again.
right. You sit back, you wait, I squeeze it, I rub it, I fucking start jerking a little bit, and then I click away. I click a lot. I like to skip around.
Sometimes I like to stare down at my dick hole, see the pre-cum losing, and like, okay, I went too far, and then stop, pull it back a little bit.
No, I don't do the pre-cum jazz. I'm not into that. But I love blowing loads all over Kleenexes. It's my favorite thing. It's my favorite thing. I'm pulling my dick out. I'm whipping my cock out.
I had criticisms about other characters and like, I'm on the camp that like, yeah, Rey's kind of a Mary Sue, but she like Daisy Ridley in that role is fucking charming. She's very likable in The Force Awakens, not in The Last Jedi. She didn't have anything to do there, but she's very likable and very energetic. And you just same with Finn. You just get the impression that like the actor's sheer joy for being part of the Star Wars is coming through. Felicity Jones, both her character and the actress in any promotional material looks like she could not give a shit about that movie, and it's just like, were you invested in her or what's his name?
No.
Diego Luna?
No, but you know
I
what
was
Felicity
invested
Jones
in the
is?
Rebel Alliance's battle over fucking Scarif. That's about it.
But there's no characters there.
Felicity Jones is she was hired because she just won an Oscar, or she just got nominated.
I guess
I gave it 2 out of 5
nominated.
boys.
She didn't win for that. The Stephen Hawkins movie.
She's there because she's fucking hot.
She's not bad. She's not bad looking at, but there's plenty of hot girls who have like fucking high energy and shit.
Nah, no, she's replaceable. That could be a man, it could be a woman, it could be an alien there, and like nothing would change.
Wouldn't that be special? What if it was a fucking alien? That would have been awesome. Oh man, can you imagine if that was like a CGI alien you followed? Like if for once in a Star Wars character, like of a whole film and a solo film, you follow this original CGI alien.
Why does
like
it have to be CG? Why can't it be a fucking puppet?
Mix. Like, you know what I mean? Like get a person in a real outfit and then like CGI a couple extra things. Kind of like Jar Jar, like
Deadpool?
What?
They CGI Deadpool's face.
This is eyes.
Yes, like that, or like Wild Things, where the Wild Things are, or whatever, like that.
Yeah.
Like that was like a big suit,
Oh,
but
God,
then they put
don't-
like CGI
that-
faces
that-
on
Yeah,
them.
less said about that movie, the better.
I fucking saw Where the Wild Things Are with you, by the way, Ballard. In an hour and 45 minutes, you turned to me and said, "Oh, look, the plot's kicking in." Like really excited, like you were still on board the movie.
I love it.
And then the movie was what, an hour and 50 minutes?
It's like 2 hours and 20 minutes long. It's way
Oh, my
longer than it
God.
needs to be.
Anyways,
Yeah, it's
no,
a
did you say
disaster.
Rogue One? I don't know. Honestly, I just don't know.
I think I gave it a 4 out of 5 the first time we talked about it. It keeps going down. I think now it's sitting around maybe a 3.5.
And it's okay. That's fine. I think
I still enjoy watching it.
You still enjoy watching the last 30 minutes, right?
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
So, guys, I'll go first with my cool boy rating of Solo, a Star Wars story. I give it a 3.5 out of 5 boys. I loved it. When I look at the Wikipedia plot description, I go, what a fucking ridiculous movie with horrible plot threads. But I enjoyed myself watching it, and I thought it was fucking fun, and I loved it, and I will buy it. I actually would say that I'm on the lowest end of love, but I love it. But 3.5, because it's not really that great of a movie, but 3.5. Maybe 4. I might be 4 at the end of this. Who knows?
Wow, 3.5 that's low for you to say you love it, though.
I'm being fair here because
I think that's the most honest answer
it was
you've ever
clear
given.
that there was a problematic production, but I would say this was more like World War Z for me. Like, I actually thought in the end they made it work. The problematic production, they made it work.
All right, well, before Phil gets to his answer,
Okay.
I'll interject.
Yeah.
Because I think we all know where Phil's going to land on the spectrum.
I'm a 4. I'm at 4. I'm a 4. I don't want to say it, but I'm a 4. I'm a 4 out of 5 boys, really.
Okay.
I like it. I'll buy this. 4 out of 5.
I just feel like I know. I think I know where you're going to be. So
I'm curious because I'm going to make you say where you think I'm going to be before I say it.
I'm a 4, by the way. I'm just saying
okay,
that now.
Ballard, you were a 4.
I am now
Ballard?
a 4. I fluctuated to 4 just thinking about it right now.
I love that about you.
Who knows? I might go to 2 by the end of the episode.
It's a movie I'm probably going to buy. I'm probably going to watch a ton of times. It's a movie like right off the get-go. I was like, oh, fuck, what's going on? This is awful. But at the end of the day, I think I'm giving it a 3.
Wow.
Okay.
See, I didn't feel the awful right off the bat like I have read somewhere, a bunch of places on the internet where people have been like, yeah, the opening was crap.
It's messy as fuck.
We can get into that in a second. Felk,
Yeah.
okay. Well, Noli, that's 3. 3.
Well, okay. Well, real fast. Nolan, you previously suggested that you thought you knew where I would stand on this. So just give me shot in the dark guess what you think my rating is going to be.
A 1 to a 2.
I'm going to give it a solid 3.5 boys. I really liked it.
What?
I think it is actually the best Disney Star Wars movie and the only one that really, well, Force Awakens captures the original feel. So, but this one felt like, yeah, good. Make these movies. Although they don't get a
now
pass.
you're on board. Now you're saying Disney make these movies.
No. They don't. Well, but Disney still doesn't get a pass because I know what they did last year.
I know what you did last summer.
I remember. I still remember.
It was last Christmas.
Like this. I credit most of this movie to Ron Howard because
Yeah.
he knows what he's doing. And
Yeah.
it showed that they.
don't. I thought.
Yeah.
I thought Ron Howard was the worst part of this movie.
What?
How could you tell?
I liked it.
Yeah, the only thing for sure we know Ron Howard did was the scene with Clint Howard.
That's
yeah, exactly.
true. But Ron Howard got directorial credit, so that means I think he had to direct over 80% of the film or over 70% of the film, something like that, to
70.
be able to even get directorial credit
did.
on the movie.
It's
once another
70 with the
director directed
DGA.
it. I'm not entirely sure of everything, honestly, because it's a whole bunch of shit that deals with Superman 2.
Yeah.
And it's why the movie was not directed by Richard Donner in the end. It was ended up released by Felku. David Lester. Wasn't it David Lester?
Dave Lester, I think sounds right. Maybe it's David Lester. I don't know. He's not good. I mean, that's a confusing thing. 'cause
Richard Lester. And he
they were-
directed
yeah,
Hard
Richard
Day's
Lester.
Night or some shit.
But that's confusing because they actively were trying to get Donner out of involvement in that movie and had to reshoot scenes verbatim the way that Donner shot them with a different director. So but with this one, they replaced the directors to change the movie, not to get rid of the guys.
I would also say, like Justice League, this was a completely we have practically a done film here, and we are going to replace the director and reshoot most of it. This was an example of this working.
Was it Phil Lord's or Christopher Miller's decision or Ron Howard's decision to make the movie so dark I couldn't tell what the fuck I was looking at?
Okay.
See, I didn't have a problem with that, and I saw an IMAX 3D, and that was even not that dark, and for it being 3D.
The cinematography is like a whole thing we need to go into later, and I do.
Oh,
have some
really?
theories
I didn't
on what
even
happened
notice.
there.
Wow.
No, it is the single biggest flaw in the movie.
It's awful sometimes.
Let's get into it right now. I mean,
No, because I still have other things to say on Ron Howard. I'm pretty sure that the reports have said that they just remade the movie. They have that much money that they can fucking remake.
That's why the budget
movie.
is so high. It's like it's rumored to be $300 million.
It's the most. Yeah,
that's two movies shot.
It's more expensive than than all their previous movies, which is weird because it doesn't look like it on camera until you realize, yeah, they fucking filmed it a second time very quickly.
And that the biggest surprise to me is the special effects were like flawless.
Yeah, the special effects were a lot more practical, like that opening.
I love that they were.
Practical.
And I think they had to be practical because they were shooting on a shoestring budget. Well, I guess not necessarily, but they were shooting a second film on a second film's budget, and they had to shoot fast. So there was just like fucking less CGI, the better.
Yeah. Well, there's a rumor that the fully CGI character with 4 arms gets killed really quickly because they didn't have the time to animate more of him to reshoot his stuff.
Oh, that makes sense.
So they just killed him off.
He was fine to die there. It made sense.
It was fine. Yeah. They probably removed stuff that made it seem like he was going to be a bigger character.
I mean, we're in spoilers. You can say who that character was. It's Rio. It was Jon Favreau.
I don't remember the name of the character.
Oh, Rio, and it was Jon Favreau.
Yeah, they're getting in with Jon Favreau.
Jon Favreau's already been in with them. I mean, since Iron Man, he was in with them. I mean, practically before they started, but
I don't know how much connection there is from Disney Marvel to Star Wars
there's tons
Marvel.
of connections. Jon Favreau is a producer on Avengers films because of he has connections with Iron Man.
Yeah, sure.
I was trying to think about like what if 20% or whatever that number was Phil Lord and Chris Miller, and
we don't know
the
number.
Thinking maybe the open, like maybe the prologue was mostly them.
Maybe. I don't know. I'm curious to find out what part of their film is actually in this film.
I felt like, okay, so Avengers Infinity War Spoilercast, I said during Wakanda, especially during the battle sequences, there seems to be a fake beard on Chris Evans. And and same with Fantastic Four with Sue Storm. Clearly Kate Mara's wearing a wig.
Yeah, so you have a nice indicator there.
Like you have these clear tells of like this is reshot.
Mustache.
Like, this has been reshot. Mustache removal. Yeah, exactly. Justice League. I got none of that from this movie. I could not tell you what was reshot.
No, yeah,
because they were still in production.
Yeah,
I guess they're lucky then, huh?
Yeah. Nobody had to grow a weird beard or shave something off or anything. They just basically just kept filming but refilmed shit.
I thought Ron Howard he's a serviceable director. He came in and he did what he could. I mean, the pace was breakneck in the movie. I didn't really have time to think about shit, even if I didn't like something.
It was a lot like Fair Game.
Yeah, it was on to something good like in the next 5 minutes, so I didn't have to really think about it too much.
Yeah.
And there were moments in the movie. I saw an amazing film in there at some points. I was like, man, there's some really good stuff happening here. But then it would get clunky. I think that's just the result of a troubled production.
Yeah.
But Howard didn't hit the big moments he had to hit. Like there was scenes that should have been like huge and like they just kind of like went over. Just the way when Superman got his costume in Man of Steel, the scene just happens. Like nothing was like monumental about it.
Like what?
Like what? Yeah.
Okay, the movie starts off. We have a new character playing Han Solo, and he gets no introduction hero shot. It's just like a straight on shot of his face right away driving a car. It's like, that's how you're going to introduce your character in this movie? Like, that's it?
It felt like
give
a
me
50s
something.
film. It felt like a Rebel Without a Cause type of style film to me, and I liked that, actually. I really see, a lot of people didn't like the prologue, and I'd like you to expand on that, but I really dug the prologue.
I want that boot hitting the ground and the camera panning up and revealing like an actor. I want a hero reveal shot.
It was the very first shot of him was fast because
it
was a fast-paced opening where he's stealing the car. And I
like Lady Proxima Midnight, honestly, and like her fucking whole deal, and the fact that she looked like a 1980s character. Other than
I'm not talking about Proxima.
You know that's not her.
I'm hitting
her
big
name,
things.
right? Proxima Midnight's from the Avengers.
Proxima Midnight.
That's from the Avengers.
She's Lady Proxima.
Is that her name?
Yeah.
Lady Proxima?
Yeah. Anyway, Ballard, you're talking about Proxima Lady, Proxima Midnight, Lady Proxima. I'm talking about the big moments.
Proxima Pussy.
We have a fucking Millennium Falcon that doesn't look like the Millennium Falcon we know, and the fucking escape pod gets jettisoned to reveal the Millennium Falcon we know, and like, that wasn't a big moment. That should have been huge. The music should have fucking transcend everything in the theater and like, oh shit, that's the Falcon we know. The moment wasn't big.
No, because we already know what it looks like. The escape
pod was just a stupid thing in the end anyways. The escape pod was just like...
It should have been big though.
Why did Lando even add that on there? I don't even know why Lando added...
moment.
That's a big moment for me to be like, there's the ship. Like, because we were like, oh, we're getting teased. This ship looks weird. Okay. What's going to happen? They're going to reveal the old ship by the end of the movie. And then it happened. We know it was going to happen. And it just wasn't a big moment.
I don't see that as a big moment. The big moments for me going in would be like Han meeting Chewie for the first time and Han meeting Lando for the first time. And those both worked to me.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, those are okay. if I could see what fucking was happening, I saw this like shadow coming into the mud, and I was like, "Is that Chewbacca?"
Oh, I 100% agree with you there.
I loved that. I loved it. I love Chewbacca. It's open and intro. I don't know. My IMAX screening was like not issue with the darkness.
I'm not saying I don't like the movie there. I just like I couldn't see what was happening. It was really dark. And I'm not the only one who's complaining about this. It seems to be a very
no, yeah, I've seen it on the internet. Definitely, people have complained about it. Well, let's get into the the actual opening. They had an opening crawl, kind of reminiscent of Blade Runner. I felt like
it was very 80s. I kind of liked it.
I loved it, and I loved how they stayed the same font.
It was a way of doing a crawl without doing the crawl.
See, I don't know why they didn't do the crawl.
I liked that they stuck with the same font. Like it was like almost like watching the opening of Willow. Like it was like you're just getting like, here's the information, and this is the font we picked. They didn't move on to a new font. I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, and also the story being told was a typical Star Wars like pre-credit crawl, where it's just like giving you the information about what you're about to see. It wasn't about the whole movie. It was like, hey, this is what Han Solo's been doing. Or this is the world that sucks, and this is what's happening.
Yeah, just enough setup. It was like 3 paragraphs too, wasn't it?
Here's
like,
the weird thing. This movie actually needs that crawl to set up, like, because it throws you right into the story, and you don't know where Han Solo is at that time. So it gives you information you need to know. That movie actually needs a typical Star Wars opening crawl. But they, I guess, decided that those crawls in Star Wars coming up on screen should only be for the episodes.
Saga.
Yeah, the saga.
The saga film.
So,
yeah.
but I mean, we're gonna have to dog on it again. But like The Last Jedi, it basically is. I don't remember anything in the opening crawl because it doesn't set up anything, because it starts exactly where the last movie left off. It's like minutes later.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Yeah.
But I mean, it tries to stand on its own in that way, right? By giving you the opening crawl, it says practically the events of Force Awakens were as such.
Yeah, it recaps the previous movie, whereas they always before recap what happened in between the movies.
And then it gives you, the the right into the battle right there. Boom, you
but
dive
whose
right
fault
in.
is that? Is that Rian Johnson's fault or J.J. Abrams for leaving the movie on a cliffhanger where you're like, oh, what the fuck just happened?
Well, I don't know if you necessarily need the First Order to attack him right then and there necessarily for the story.
I honestly expected that movie to open with like Luke Skywalker and Rey talking. I was like, wow, that's gonna be a horrible opening of a movie. And it went into a space battle, so I was pleasantly surprised.
I would absolutely agree with that. Totally agree with that. And then you do realize that 20 minutes in, when Finn finally wakes up and he's like, "Where's Rey?" You're like, "Oh yeah, where the fuck is Rey?" I was waiting for that answer since Episode 7 ended. I actually thought that too. That similar thing.
And I like that. I like that
me too.
opening.
Oh yeah, your mama jokes.
You know what I did not like, and I thought was awkward again, was the opening main title, Solo, A Star Wars Story, the way that popped up real fast over
that was
Corellia.
Awful. That was awful.
And just like a Rogue One, a Star Wars Story, that was like also horrible. They just don't have that down.
Yeah. Why'd that come up there? That could have came at the end of the scene.
It should have. It should have gone Solo, and then it should have gone 3 years later.
It like is a wide shot of the city, and like the image comes like zooming at you. I was like, what is that?
That was very weird. Also, it was like neon colored. It was like Suicide Squad.
It was like yellow,
almost.
yeah.
So it was like, that was like, for a movie that has almost no goddamn color. I mean, there were shots that were just tinted black and white. It was very weird to have such a colorful title crawl or title screen come at you.
Well, yeah, just like a Rogue One, because Rogue One was like all randomly out of nowhere, like terrible Giacchino score and like blasting at you, and then just blew like Rogue One, a Star Wars story.
Yeah, it's weird because you see Star Wars so big on the screen, and Rogue One was like this small little like 2 words like with a weird font that you'd never seen before. So you're like, what the fuck is that? It was like skinny.
Yeah, the music was good this time, I thought, actually.
Yeah,
I'll
okay, so this
later,
was not
guys.
John Williams. This was somebody else.
John
right?
Powell.
Like John Ottoman or something, right?
John Powell from the Bourne movies.
I thought he killed it.
John Powell.
I thought the score was everything I wanted in a Star Wars movie.
This is
That's
what I
not
would
John
say for the
Williams.
score. It was nothing noticeable
X-Men
other
movies,
than
too.
the fact that the Imperial March is now canon, apparently. Like during the actual like opening when Han Solo was being recruited, you could hear the Imperial March just playing like through like the loudspeakers.
I
It
believe,
was like
I believe the term there is this music is diegetic, meaning the march exists within the universe as well.
they're very good. A little education there for everybody.
I thought it like hit the the familiar Star Wars notes just enough to remind me that I'm watching a Star Wars movie.
Yeah, that's true.
I was a little disappointed I didn't hear the music from the trailers at all, even the like the solos. Like I thought that was
Thank
the solo
God.
theme.
I didn't like it.
I like the clicking in the trailer, just like ding 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 ding.
Yeah, but that's trailer music. That's definitely not Star Wars music. I don't
Yeah,
think
but
that
I was
ever gonna
looking
be
for
the case.
something different, you know. But this movie hit all the familiar notes, and like it dropped in the cues when I needed them to remind me that I was
Yes.
watching something Star Warsy.
I liked how they played the asteroid music, obviously, when he's, doing the maw through the Kessel Run, all that shit. Like, I liked the music, but the music was serviceable. It was, I actually like the music more in The Last Jedi than I do in Solo, but the music in Solo didn't call itself, like, any attention to itself, like Giacchino's score in Rogue One, which at points you're just like, what is going on?
No, the music's the only thing I can't fault Last Jedi for, because it's Williams. I mean, it's good. It's going to be good.
But Williams actually came up with shit, I felt like, for The Last Jedi that felt original and Star Wars at the same time.
Yeah. I think Luke's score in Last Jedi is a really powerful new score that I love a lot.
Yeah, I don't have any problems with the music at all. I think it's actually, on its own, is pretty good Star Wars music. But that's just because
But Philk, do you know who scored Solo, A Star Wars Story?
John Powell.
Do you know what his first movie he ever scored is?
No. I know he did X-Men 3, and another movie that I like where
Ballad?
the score is better than it.
Superman Returns.
Guys, I feel the sudden need to talk about John Travolta's hair.
Oh, now I know why he's fucking.
No way. Is it Swordfish?
No.
Is it Broken Arrow?
No. That's Hans Zimmer, which is a really good score.
Is it Face
Great
Off?
score.
It's Face Off.
It's Face Off.
No way.
Yeah.
Is it really?
And Face Off's a great fucking score, so this guy knows what he's doing.
Now, to be fair, that's the first
Arrow.
movie he that's the first movie that came out, but he had started working on Ants before because of its long CGI time. Remember Ants?
John Powell, I appreciate you.
Yeah, no, well, he did. I love the Bourne theme. He did those, so like those are excellent.
Those are
fuck
great.
Those movies.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of Han Solo and Solo Star Wars movie, there was this story about Han going into the Empire, and this is where we find out what Bob Iger was talking about, right? Or whoever it was, about like, we'll find out how he gets his name. He's by himself, so he gets Solo.
Oh, that's dumb.
Yeah, that was the reason. That's the pitch they sold the movie on. They got the whole movie made, which I don't think is like amazing.
Well, I guess if you're an executive of a fucking studio, right? Like, you're just like, whatever, that sounds great, dude. Oh, this fucking hooker is sucking my dick right now, and I'm doing blow off this other guy's dick.
Okay, dick talk. It leaves more questions too, because if he got his name Solo because he has no last name, how did he get the name Han? 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 How did he get the name Han?
Dick.
Dicks upon dicks.
Dick.
Dicks upon dicks.
Dicks.
How did he get the name Han?
Oh, hi, Mark.
I'm a driver, and I'm a flyer.
Denzel Washington makes me hard every morning. Rim job. Oh my god.
How did he get the name Han?
Dicks upon dicks.
How did he get the name Han?
What is gay?
I'm doing blow off this other guy's dick.
Sweet pussy. You guys don't have answers, or did you not hear me?
No, to me, I heard you. It's not like a problem in the movie.
No,
It's just
not
like,
really.
It was one of those things like I didn't need to know that.
Yeah, I also didn't need the scene where he finds out Chewbacca's name and he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna need to come up with a nickname for you because Chewbacca's too long."
That's a throwaway line too. Yeah, I don't know why they needed that line
Yeah.
anyway, but whatever.
That's stupid. Whatever. But I didn't care about it because otherwise I was like just digging on fucking Chewie and Jonas Suotomo fucking, and just he is a great Chewie. I like he is acting through that suit in a huge mask.
He's 7
I
feet
liked it.
tall.
It felt like Chewie to me. It felt great. I liked it.
7 foot
He
tall.
felt like young
Swedish basketball
Chewie
player.
and spunky Chewie.
Yeah. But before we talk about Chewie, let's talk about our main star, Alden, German last name.
Ehrenreich. Guys, what do you guys think of Alden Ehrenreich as Solo?
He was good.
On a Cool Boy rating, I'll give him a nice 4 out of 5.
Yeah, okay, I'll give Alden on a Cool Boy rating. I give him a nice 5 thumbs up his butt. Alden nailed it.
from the get-go, he didn't sound like Harrison Ford. He didn't look like Harrison Ford, but I was with him. He had the spunk, and his humor delivery was fine. It was like Harrison Ford's.
It was close. He doesn't.
He was funny when he had to be, and I wanted to be on that journey with him. I thought he was fine.
I saw Baby Driver, thinking that actor, whose name I don't remember, but I can pull it up, was going to play Han Solo.
Ansel Elgort.
Yeah, very similar weird name. And he was one of the people considered. And he actually looks like Han Solo, or Harrison Ford to a certain degree. And I thought, like, oh, this guy would be a perfect Solo. That was good casting. And then I saw the trailer, like, who the fuck is this guy? But he actually he does fine. He's
not Harrison Ford, because no one can be. But like, for what I got from him, like, I was okay with him. I thought he was good.
The rumors that he needed acting lessons, I mean, they worked.
Yeah, and they did for Rey too. I mean, there were rumors for Rey, for Daisy Ridley in The Force Awakens, that she was just totally sucking, and JJ was like, "Bitch, you gotta be better." And they hired like actor teachers for her, and she was just like, "Actor teacher, you gotta teach me." And it was like Dirty Dancing, and the actor teacher looked like probably Patrick Swayze, and Rey looked a lot like Jennifer Grey, and it was fucking hardcore.
What does it say about
nobody puts Daisy in the corner?
What does it say about acting that they can apparently just hire somebody who doesn't know how to act and then teach them how to act in 2 weeks and then film the movie? Like, when you think about the craft, like the Leo DiCaprios of the world,
right? This is acting.
Yeah.
I get money to pretend. Yay! I want my coffee this way. Like, it's fucking just the most. It's right. It's like demands, and then you get to play pretend.
Yeah.
And you're really good at it.
90% of them, of the actors on a film set, are like the least talented people there. The cinematographer, the director, and the writers are all way more talented. But
what do they people literally call actors and hosts and all that shit on set? We call them what? Talent.
Yeah.
Talent.
But there's so many more, as you put it, Nolan. More talented people on set working the fucking lighting gear, working the cameras, fucking directing, producing all the fucking different monitors, and like looking at the shit and getting the cams right. It's fucking insane.
I'd say that the grip who tapes down the cables sometimes is more talented than some of the actors we have on camera.
For sure.
Well, there's certainly more responsibility. Someone could get electrocuted if the grip screws up. If the actor screws up, they just hire a new person or hire a acting coach.
I mean, guys, Ashton Kutcher had a movie career at one point.
Ashton Kutcher got fired off a movie by Cameron Crowe, Elizabethtown, and he said he needs acting lessons or we won't continue, and he wouldn't take acting lessons.
And then you replace him with Orlando Bloom.
Yeah, the most natural, charismatic actor out there.
Absolutely.
The one reason Kingdom of Heaven is a complete piece of shit.
The director's cut's okay, but he is not better in it.
That's what I hear everyone says, but you know what? Your first try with me, that's all you get. And it was a complete piece of shit. I ain't watching your extended director's edition.
Well, Orlando Bloom's not any better in that movie.
Kingdom of Heaven is a whole nother conversation, but it is an incredible director's cut.
I will say this to you, though. Having seen Elizabethtown, which is a very forgettable, pretty much bad movie, he's still better than Ashton Kutcher.
Sure. Whatever. Honestly, fine. Orlando Bloom's a joke. Who cares?
In the words of Felk, it's a wash.
Yeah,
it's a wash.
I wouldn't say it's a wash. I
think
he's
words
better
of
than
Nolan.
Ashton Kutcher. I can't really sing the praises of Orlando Bloom at all.
Okay, back to Solo. What do you think about Han speaking Chewbacca?
That felt like a Lord Miller moment, probably, because it was awkward and kind of like comedy based. So that
did kind of, I guess, huh?
Yeah.
Did you not like when Han spoke in Shriwook and was all like and all that shit?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Because there's no way for a human being to make those noises where it's not like kind of a joke.
Yep.
So. And obviously it was meant to be a comedy moment. The entire, like, there was no real threat. Obviously, as soon as it was kind of handled weird when Chewbacca came out. Like, after it was revealed to Chewbacca, the cinematography still was shooting it like it's a monster. And I was
that's what I'm saying. Ron Howard was shooting this movie weird. Like, he was shooting the movie like he'd never seen a Star Wars film before.
I don't think that's
one of the things I liked about it. I felt like that was the charm behind this film. So I guess I honestly, when your weakest points about it, I do think is one of the charming things about the film. Like, I really did like how if I had never seen a Star Wars film, I could watch this movie without knowing anything about Jedi or the Empire or the Rebellion and get something totally different out of this film. I think in the third act, not to jump ahead, when Enfys Nest turns out to be part of the Rebellion, like, and that kind of shit. And then like, you know, and like Dryden Voss is fucking tied in with fucking Darth Maul, which is, you know, part of the original Sith shit. Like to me, like that's when the movie starts to lose itself.
You went way far ahead.
But like for me, the film up to that point really works well as like an 80s film, like a Willow. I keep bringing to Willow because it's Ron Howard, and Willow is kind of Star Wars meets Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
And this is very much like Ron Howard's, like, you know, I would imagine his pipe dream. Like, oh my God, I get to do a Star Wars film. Unfortunately, I had to do it rushed. And this is I think this is a great, like adaptation of Chris Miller and Phil Lord's fucking movie.
Yeah, to make it more in line, probably just with the tone of Star Wars. But it was kind of, I mean, it's like, did they expect anyone to be surprised at the point where they revealed Chewbacca because it was so obvious right when he throws him down in the well or pit or whatever?
Yeah, it just goes back to my moments of like just not having those heroic shots of these icons that should have been there.
I guess, yeah.
They weren't icons yet.
Yeah.
But that was a chance because the camera, if I remember, clearly came out where like it was his feet, Wookiee feet stepping in the mud, and it never had like a big pan up to Chewbacca to reveal him, and maybe he yells and like that's your reveal. It was like, oh, there's the feet. Oh, here's some tight shots of like arms swinging. Here's some tight shots of like hair. It was like, what are you doing here, Ron?
I think that's fine. Like if you don't know Chewbacca's like an icon yet, why would you shoot him that way?
Who's watching this movie that doesn't know who these people are?
I'm just maybe someone whose first film is Solo into Star Wars. It surprises me people that you bump into in life who are like, I've never seen a Star Wars film, and you're like, really? You've never seen a Star Wars? Like, you're how old? Like, and you've never, you know what I mean? Like right now in 2018, the idea of that you've never seen a Star Wars film, it seems to me like more effort than honestly than being passive. It seems like you have to be actively avoiding Star Wars at that point, realistically. So there's a possibility that somebody somewhere, this is their first Star Wars film, and if this is their first way of being introduced to these characters, I think it's fine. I don't think it's a big issue. I think it's better than grandstanding and then making this huge like moment where it's like, you know, like, look, remember, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, audience, these guys are going to be great, and best is the friends, you know? Like, I think if you, like, made shots that were so obvious, I think the film would have felt less like a film and more like a fan film than it already does.
It felt like a fan film, though, to me.
For sure.
Oh, really?
It definitely did. I thought it felt like a fan film.
This one is the first one that doesn't feel like a fan film to me. And maybe that's just because I know Ron Howard's not a fan. He's part of the Lucas Empire, you know?
He is. Oh, he is. But it did feel like a fan film. It felt like the best fan film ever, and that supersedes Rogue One, which was considered the best fan film prior to that. Rogue One was at least made by somebody who likes Star Wars. His just directing style was not conducive to Star Wars. That's not necessarily his fault. I thought Ron Howard's, you know, journeyman shooter style, like he can just shoot the scenes, like the ability to do that, his Hollywood, like, you know, journey alone. Yeah. I think that gave him the ability to shoot this movie, honestly.
Is there a shot in this movie that you felt like was like, oh, this is like great direction, or this is like what a great director shoots like?
I guess not. Nothing.
The opening being the sparks from hot wiring that car was what was like very cool.
I liked a lot of the shots of Dryden Voss's yacht when it was flying around. I liked a lot of the Maw section of the Kessel Run. Thought that was really cool. I mean, I can't call it any particular shot. I liked when Chewie and Han, I know it's used in the trailer, but the shot when they're walking up to the Millennium Falcon the first time. I liked that shot a lot. I liked a lot of the train sequence shots a lot, especially the way the explosion went off with the coaxium. I liked a lot of the shots of Han walking up to Enfys Nest at the end at that sand, whatever planet.
Yeah, that was cool.
I mean, for me, the direction was more in the characters interacting with each other because Howard's kind of an actor's director and he did a good job. That's why you got good performances. Emilia Clarke was actually likable in this movie, and I think she's
surprisingly, this is her best performance in the film, I think.
Or I mean, counting Game of Thrones, where she's just so boring.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Did you guys notice that she had Star Wars Masters of Terra? Or no, she didn't say Star Wars Masters of Terrascasi, but she said she was like, you know, able to do Terracasi or whatever the fuck, that Star Wars art.
Yeah, as soon as she said that, I was like, what the fuck is that from?
I used to play that game on PlayStation way back in the day with my little brother. And I loved game. I loved busting out my green lightsaber as Luke.
I loved playing that game, but I knew at the time it was super clunky and super unbalanced. That's a forced joke.
Totally. But you know what? It was Star Wars, and I was using lightsabers, and that was fucking awesome.
So yeah, Akira, she was fine. She was serviceable. Like, I thought Emilia Clarke did a fine job.
It was a nice dick punch because I mean we've all kind of been there where he's spent the last 3 years trying to figure out how to get back to her, and when he just randomly runs into her, she's like, I don't. Oh, that was like I haven't thought about you. I've been doing other shit. I've been there. I can relate to that. What Solo went through there, where you try to stay cool. You're just like, oh yeah. So now that we're back together, what's up?
Yeah,
totally.
Just trying to feel out the situation.
What is this?
Help me. Help you.
Yeah, no, she was great. She did a good job. She's fine. She was a nice conduit to fucking Dryden Voss's character, who was our gangster, who was the only real casualty of the Chris Miller, Phil Lord being fired. Because Michael K. Williams was the original dude. He was going to do mocap. He was going to do like a cat-like creature, most likely. There was a bunch of concept art released, but the most common one was a cat-like creature. And he was going to be like a very formidable, sexy cat, alien cat.
So he did all mocap, so when it was time to refilm it, it was easy to get rid of him.
Yeah, well, they just reshot all that stuff. So all the Paul Bettany stuff is reshot stuff.
And so they, to save time and save money, they just hired a real actor and said, we're not going to do this digitally anymore.
I think Michael K. Williams was busy at the time. That's mainly the reason why he was off shooting something else.
I really like Michael K. Williams as Chalky in Boardwalk Empire, but like when I've seen him in other stuff, he doesn't do anything for me.
Well, you don't like him in The Incredible Hulk when he's in Harlem and he just sees the Hulk smash up against the Abomination?
I don't even know who this guy is. I haven't watched the things that he's been on.
You've seen The Incredible Hulk, right?
I don't.
I have, but I don't remember.
Then you've seen him. He's a random pedestrian when Hulk is trashing Harlem with Abomination.
I do not remember random pedestrian.
But yeah, so I thought, I mean, whatever. I thought Paul Bettany was great. I thought he worked it, and
he's
he filled
fine.
The scenes he needed.
He's serviceable.
Yeah, serviceable for sure.
They gave an interesting touch, like when he got mad, the scars on his face turned like red.
Oh, it's okay. I wasn't sure if that's what I was seeing or not.
I think that's what was happening.
Okay.
Or maybe in my own mind, I was like, "Oh, he's getting angry. Everything on his face is turning."
It seemed like that, but I wasn't sure if that was just like the 3D. I saw it in IMAX 3D, so I had no idea.
Really?
At one point, I'm like, I don't know.
Of course, you saw. I forgot you saw this in 3D.
Oh man.
Oh yes.
So yeah, he was fine. I liked his ship. It was kind of reminiscent of a fancier Jabba's barge.
Yeah, that's what it was.
I
Except
loved the
could
first
travel
flight.
between planets.
Where now we might have to talk about the best place to have a gay sex orgy might be on Dryden Voss's fucking yacht.
Yeah, it's a star yacht. It's called a star yacht. It's like a skyscraper star yacht, and it's called First Light, by the way, and it's gorgeous.
It's good design.
Absolutely gorgeous.
It was unique to the film, which is neat.
I loved it. It's one of my favorite parts of the whole movie.
Huh.
That's weird, but okay. Do you guys want to get into something good about the movie?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's so good. Oh my god.
We've been talking about good stuff, but here's something I actually thought was good. There were moments if I closed my eyes, I swore I was hearing Billy D. Williams.
No,
he was close. He was very close.
I didn't feel like I was hearing Billy D, but he did good. He did a good Lando.
I thought I was hearing Billy D. sometimes.
What'd you guys think of Donald Glover as Lando? You guys liked him, huh?
I thought he was great.
He was doing an impersonation, but that's fine
was.
because that character is not super developed. So he really is just Billy D. Williams' speech pattern and general like coolness. So he tried to capture the coolness. And I mean, they really don't add more character to him in this movie. It's not like they elaborate more on what makes
they
Lando
definitely do.
tick.
He fucks droids in this movie.
I don't know that he actually fucks the droid, but he does something.
There's a moment where she's getting into like the seat and the Millennium Falcon cockpit, and she's like, "You're gonna have to do that thing later on me." And he like gives that look like, "Oh, I hate doing that thing because it's like crazy, awkward, and sexual." And then isn't there a moment where she like essentially implies that she doesn't want to fuck him, but wink, wink, she does, and then also he wants to fuck her too.
I think she was in love with him and was saying that he was in love with her because that's how like she was like justifying it kind of. Like.
When she dies, it's practically like losing a loved one for him.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of weird. That was kind of.
All right, here's something I want to get into real quick while we're talking about Lando.
I didn't think it was that heavy.
L337. I liked and my audience liked and nobody was moaning, and I did not mind L337. I liked her more than K2SO.
Oh, definitely.
I thought she was a better K2SO. I might be alone along with my audience, but we thought she was funny.
Well, what do you know?
I thought she was going to be the worst part based on things I heard. She's a horrible character and one of the worst characters in all of Star Wars. And the joke was social justice droid. And there was actually nothing social justice-y from the character. Being anti-slavery is not social justice. It's just
no
justice.
Bingo.
I think her character, depending on what era you're watching that character, she's whatever you fill in the blank. So like in the 60s, that character would be a very pro-black and pro-civil rights character. In the 20s, she would be a pro-woman, suffrage movement
that makes a lot of sense.
character.
Sort of,
so
but
forth and so on. Go back in however many decades, however many centuries, there is a plight. There is someone that has a plight, and this character applies to that. And eventually, who knows? She might even be a futuristic foretelling of droids eventually being like, fuck
rebelling, yeah.
Fuck all of us.
I just saw it as a droid.
We get matrixed.
I just saw it as a droid that had like programming where it didn't recognize that like droids don't know that they're slaves. It kept trying to free them. I
loved it.
That was it was fine. It was like that. Some people are interpreting it as almost like a joke at like making that over the top, and it is. I mean, it is. The joke is that droids are just basically sentient slaves, and in the Star Wars universe, and nobody has a problem like with it at all.
Absolutely, and visually, she looked amazing.
Even
too.
the heroes,
like a CGI character, she looked like a great CGI character.
Yeah, was she completely CG because she would look really photorealistic.
Yeah, I think it was fully motion captured.
The Star Wars A New Hope starts with the hero, Luke. Straight up.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. A New Hope does not start with Luke, buddy.
Okay, but one of the early scenes start with means.
No, Luke doesn't show up to like 45 minutes in practically or something
Very
like
confused.
Luke does not show up. It's not 45 minutes in. It's like maybe.
It's like 20. It's like 20 to
20. Yeah,
somewhere.
20. All right,
20 to 40, somewhere in there.
All right, I'll rephrase. One of the introductory scenes for our hero for A New Hope, Luke, is him just straight up buying C-3PO, who's sentient, and R2-D2 might be sentient. It's a little unclear.
Well, an R4 first, and then
I love all the expanded universe of R4. Or R4 is actually the droid that starts the droid rebellion in the expanded universe.
Oh, great!
And yeah, he starts the droids right movement.
On-air droid rebellions.
But he buys C-3PO and it's like, I own you now, and C-3PO is like, okay, and like he's like talking like he's fully aware and alive. So like this is the first time we've had a droid in the movies at least be like, hey, how come we're all just fucking property?
Yeah.
I think I'm not with you guys. I didn't like L3.
Okay, why?
Not that I didn't like her. I'm indifferent to her. She was just like every time she was on screen, she yelled a lot, and it was like, hey, look at me. I'm supposed to be funny and sarcastic and like make jokes. I'm trying to draw attention to you. I'm like the comic relief, and like I just wasn't buying it.
I was glad
she as bad as Jar Jar for you? Like, how
no, not by any means. Like I'll say I tolerated L3. She was K2SO was supposed to be sarcastic in the comic relief. She was like that on steroids, and I was just like, I don't need my droids like that. Like, she's fine.
I agree.
Like,
it is kind of weird that they've done that with Disney.
You know what? I'm sick of this feminist propaganda in these Star Wars films. You know what?
Is that it? Oh, are you really?
It wasn't overtly feminist though. Like there was no.
I'm kidding.
Yeah, but it is weird though that the Disney droids are like sarcastic and like kind of like quippy. Like droids are just programmed.
Even the Star Tours droid is sarcastic.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But Phil, R2-D2 is sarcastic as fuck.
The Disney versions of the droids seem to like be making them kind of like rebellious and have minds of their own. And I guess C-3PO kind of like he worried, but he always did what he was told because it seemed like he was in his programming. It's just like they're programs.
So glad we took this job!
I almost wonder if Lando's the most like interesting through line from this film into Empire into Return of the Jedi, because now you kind of understand why in Return of the Jedi he really wants to fly Millennium Falcon through the Death Star too. Like it's like he's more attached to it because L337 is literally a part of the starship. Like she's now, I mean, even 3PO says in Empire something like, Han, your ship's got a fucking really strange dialect. And it's like, because it's just this droid that's like bitching at fucking 3PO and probably being like hardcore intense into him.
Empire,
like
he talks
that.
like it has a personality, and they kind of that explains why this ship specifically
that was an
has
okay
a
thing
personality
they did,
that can be talked to.
especially with her being such a bitch.
I like that. And she's also the best like navigational system in the entire galaxy, right? Like that's why they plugged her in. She knew like exactly how to get out of the Maw or whatever the Kessel Run.
Well,
so
the Falcon's kind of a bitch, especially in Empire, because like the first like 40 minutes of Empire are just trying to like get the damn thing to work.
Oh, I love that when I heard the sound of the engines not working too, and they're trying to fly out of the Kessel. Yeah, that was nice.
Yeah, it's Empire. You never hear that in A New Hope.
What did you guys think of Darth Maul showing up? Were you guys like, oh my God, it's Darth Maul?
It was the first time in the movie where like I forgot, I don't remember anything he said because for the next 5 minutes he was on screen. I was trying to think of the time. I was like, where are we here? How is he alive? Like, what the fuck is going on?
He's got robot legs.
He had robot legs.
He survived being cut in half.
He had a new lightsaber hilt too, Felk.
Yeah, he did.
Oh, they showed his hilt?
Yeah, it shows hilt. It had like a little. It's the same hilt apparently from like Rebels.
Oh yeah,
and
it has
Clone
some
Wars.
weird curvature on it.
Yeah.
So the Darth Maul thing I thought was very weird.
I didn't like it. I hated that part of the movie.
So I have a very peripheral knowledge of Clone Wars and Rebels, and so I know that Darth Maul like came back and he's had battles with Obi-Wan and so forth, and met with Ezra's and all whoever's.
That was stupid that he was in this movie.
Yeah, I did not like this character showing up in this film at all.
It doesn't make any sense.
For me, this was the first time in the movie when I went, "Oh yeah, it's a Star Wars movie." Like, oh yeah, we have to have to be Star Warsy something. Even though we had Millennium Falcons and Chewbacca's and
no
like,
lightsabers, no Jedi shit.
It was just like this was the one time they have to get the lights. So we've never had it. This is the first film without.
Did he ignite his lightsaber?
Yeah, he does.
Did. He ignited it. Yeah,
and it's
I was so
red,
confused with what was happening. Like I didn't like. I was just like, where are we right now?
He ignited it. He lit it.
He lit it, and his face and his lightsaber are both red, even though holograms in Star Wars are always blue. And this
no, that's not true. Empire Strikes Back. The Imperial admirals who are exploding and the one that's not exploding on the Star Destroyers while Lord Vader's talking to him are both in normal color.
Oh, really?
The Emperor in the original theatrical edition is in color. His robe is blue. His face is yellow and his eyes are green. That is absolutely wrong. No, that's not true at all. The holograms, even back to the Empire Strikes Back, have been multicolored. That's not true.
They really had to make the red. Well, he couldn't be monochromatic because nobody would recognize him.
Yeah, holograms are not monochromatic in Star Wars universe. Even Snoke wasn't monochromatic.
Wait, what about his introduction in Phantom Menace? He steps into the hologram, and I think he's blue.
Maybe he's red. I don't remember.
He's not red there, I don't think.
He might be blue in Phantom Menace. That might be possible. Phantom Menace might be the only one I think that was like for the most part blue.
But you know that technology is very old. Very old.
It's very old in Phantom Menace.
Very old.
Not like the stuff we got in whatever this was. I think this is like 10 years before the Battle of Yavin, Han Solo. So I think Han Solo takes place 10 years before.
He's all blue. They're both all blue.
He meets Luke.
I don't know. There's a little bit of red. It's kind of hard to tell.
But this one, he was for sure red. You're absolutely right. He was for sure red to the point where even the lightsaber was bright red. Monochromatic holograms were very few and far between.
I guess it's just the cheaper ones. Because like the one that's in R2 is going to be not fancy, and the one that's going to on the AT-AT
during a battle.
Yeah, it's not. That's also not going to be super.
But see,
fancy.
because here's the thing: Darth Maul is so badass, and like Obi-Wan Kenobi like kills him, like the first Jedi to ever kill Sith, and like it kind of cheapens his character. Like now he's back, and it's just like, what was the point? Okay, so clearly the point is they want to make more solo films with Maul being a bad guy.
The point is Obi-Wan is the Obi-Wan movie is going to have Darth Maul and Obi-Wan in it. That's what the point of the Obi-Wan movie is.
The point is Darth Maul as an action figure sells toys.
Yeah, but he will absolutely be in the Obi-Wan film. This is like setting up Obi-Wan movie.
Is he the main baddie? Because that
for sure,
probably. Yeah.
Okay.
No one bought the Rose action figures, so they're like, well, people buy Darth Maul, so we'll bring him back.
No one likes Rose.
No, but she has an action figure.
Is this the first time Kathleen and company have like thought something through where they might use this character again in another movie? So they're planning like his like introduction.
I think so.
Probably.
Wow, there's like some actual planning happening in these like new Star Wars films.
Yeah, they sold a shitload of Kylo Ren helmets. Like that's a toy. Like, and then the next movie starts with the character who wears that helmet smashing the helmet and saying, "I don't like this helmet anymore." It's like, so you're just not going to sell those helmets anymore, I guess, because he's not wearing that again.
That was a choice made early on because I have the Last Jedi production book. They wanted to let Adam Driver act.
Gay.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, no, I can see that, like showing his face and everything, but it's just like there was probably a lot of like molds that they had to make those helmets and everything. You think they want to keep that going?
Yeah, it was one of the things early on. Ryan Johnson knew he wanted to destroy the helmet because he wanted to see Adam Driver just act because he thought he was a great actor.
He is. He does his performance is one of the better things in those movies.
Let's go into the Kessel Run.
Push it. I thought the movie should have been titled Kessel Run initially when I heard this was being made, because I think that's one thing. I thought it'd be a nice homage to one of my favorite movies of all time, Midnight Run, and I was like, oh, they could do it like they could lift the structure from Midnight Run and call it Kessel Run. And
sure.
I mean, it doesn't play as big a part in the movie as I thought it would. It's really only like the middle part. Even then, it's really just like the 10-minute segment of it. So the whole movie. I was like confused. Like they mentioned like, oh, we have to go through like Kessel and like you need like 20 parsecs to do it, but like I still am confused, like what was the Kessel Run, like what did they do? Just escaping.
I think the Kessel Run was that path through all of that like black holy like anomaly shit, and they were just like, it was whatever, it was like 14 parsecs or something like that, right? All the way through it.
They technically do it twice.
He just took a shortcut.
Yeah.
That's all he did. And
that's kind of like another Ron Howard moment where it's like, do you understand Star Wars? Like this should be a big moment, and like it didn't feel like a big moment really. Like when he completed it.
You mean with a giant like space squid? It didn't feel like a big.
It felt
moment
like a big. So here's
I
the
enjoyed
confusion.
what was happening during it, but I felt like that should have been, like Phil said, that should have been like the movie maybe.
Well, let's do a little.
The whole movie should have been a chase scene through the Kessel Run.
Little quick explanation because our audience might not know. So the line comes obviously from A New Hope, where he talks about how it's the ship that did the Kessel Run in 12 parsecs.
Never heard of the Millennium Falcon?
Should I have?
It's the ship that made the Kessel Run in less than 12 parsecs.
At the time, George Lucas wrote that, not knowing that parsecs were a unit of distance, not time. So this movie, so then the expanded universe canon attempted to explain that by saying that he's bragging about how good the ship is because it did the run in a much shorter distance, because it took basically a very dangerous shortcut that requires a lot of maneuverability, which is dumb. I've never thought that this should be explained. Just say, oh, in the Star Wars galaxy, parsecs is a measurement of time, and then that would fix the problem. So this movie builds up the entire parsec run around the idea that doing it in a shorter route is what's impressive, which doesn't make sense that you would brag about that when you're talking about how fast the ship is.
I thought of it was more of a bragging in the end of. I mean, granted, this was my new understanding of it from this film, but more now of it's looked at more of as a bragging of like, look how badass I was. I did something that was like super hardcore, like this super dangerous, fucked up, like the road less taken, and I went through it, and it was fucking like and like that. And that way, it's kind of like, oh, impressive. How impressive is that? Like, wow, you went the crazy route and you survived. Right? I mean, it changes it. It's no longer about speed. Yeah, that's for sure. That's definitely for sure. It's not what it's about anymore at all.
It means I'm a crazy motherfucker and I just went through like an asteroid.
Yes.
I don't think. I don't remember the audio exactly, but if I recall, it was never actually about speed.
You've never heard of the Millennium Falcon? It's the ship that made the Kessel Run in 12 parsecs.
Yeah.
So what that means is like, oh, you went through the cloud. That's what it means. Like now in the world, what it means is like, oh shit, you went through the cloud, as opposed to, wow, that's super fast, which is the way we all interpreted it up until this point. I'm saying this film now establishes the canon as being more like, oh wow, that's fucking crazy. You went through the cloud. Like,
yeah,
you didn't go the path.
It's still impressive. It just seems like with the way it's handled, the dangerous path, it's more impressive from the pilot, when he's talking about how good the ship is.
Exactly.
So I think that's why that line, I mean, the line was written in A New Hope to be about the ship's fast.
Speed.
It's time.
I will say one of my favorite moments in the film is when the gun's broken and fucking Han just flips the ship into the TIE fighter and knocks it out. I was like, Han, I want to jerk you off right now.
That was cool, using kicking up like gravel off an asteroid or whatever to take out. That was also very cool.
That was awesome too.
The movie tries to, like, the Parsec thing is one of the two things the movie tries to, like, retcon into fixing. The other is the fact that in Empire, Billy D. Williams just mispronounces Han and says Han, old buddy. So it's that's not intentional. That's just because Billy D. Williams is probably very drunk. And they try to make it into like a thing that he calls him Han because he calls him Han the first time.
I like that.
I actually like that too. I thought that was
that was fine.
I chuckled.
It was
I was the only person in my theater who chuckled, but I chuckled.
You're a chuckler, that's why.
I thought that was funny because I definitely was probably the most geeky, probably Star Wars person in my theater at least.
They were trying to fix things in this movie, which was kind of neat. Even though the escape pod was jettisoned obviously back in that Kessel Run, and that's a big deal because in A New Hope they say the escape pods have been jettisoned because that's what the log says on the ship's log. So that's it.
I did love when they landed the Millennium Falcon on whatever planet it was because this movie went so fast. I don't know any of the planets' names.
I don't know them either, to be honest. Corellia was the first one. That's all I know.
Yeah, Corellia is the only one.
They mentioned Scarif, which I thought was Rogue One. Remember, they were like, "Oh yeah, we can go there for coaxium, but it's well guarded or some shit."
But anyway, when the Millennium Falcon was crashed on the sand planet, the beach planet, and it looked like ass, I was like, "Oh yeah, there's the ship. Now it's a hunk of junk."
Yeah, that was the point. That was it gets so fucked up in that run that's not why now everyone thinks it's garbage.
But also, Lando spruced it up a bit because the ship does show up in its normal freighter state in Revenge of the Sith, which I noticed literally in theaters, and I was like, "Oh my god, there's a Millennium Falcon," and like fucking nobody gave a shit.
Nobody still gives a shit. Revenge of the Sith is a piece of shit film that only Phil loves.
That type of train car, like those train cars, the cargo, the Millennium Falcon pushes that shit. Like it's designed. That's what its teeth are for.
What audio were you making? I heard
it's
Nolan audio. He was trying to say something, maybe.
I said, Revenge of the Sith is a piece of shit movie that only Felk likes.
Oh, I knew he was trying to put it in there. It's fun. It's a fun movie. I'm telling you, this movie should have come out after Force Awakens. I mean, as long as they release The Last Jedi, that fucks up the entire franchise irreparably. But this at least could have been like a nice keep the momentum going, because Rogue One kind of killed the momentum to a certain degree. It was just like that was such a slow. I mean, nobody makes a joke except the sarcastic
but you
robots.
guys are the only two guys I know who violently hate that film. Like most people just love the third act and oh yeah, it was fine. It was a Star Wars war film.
I violently hate Last Jedi. I just kind of feel like I'm not mad at Rogue One. I'm just disappointed with it. I don't feel like there was Last Jedi. I think there was genuine malice in that movie behind the makers of that movie, coming from Ryan and Kathy. But with Rogue One, I just feel like they tried, but the idea wasn't really good to begin with, because nobody fucking cares about how we got the plans to the Death Star.
Just like nobody gives a shit about Solo.
Well, people care about Han Solo as a character, though. There's at least
nobody wanted this movie, though. Realistically,
no.
It's a good movie, but nobody wanted it.
If this movie never came out, I wouldn't have gained or lost anything.
People care about Han Solo, so there is at least a connection to making another movie with him. Whereas nobody cares about the Death Star people because they just die anyways. We know that. But with so nobody's clamoring what was Han Solo doing before we first see him. That's not something. Even the expanded fiction doesn't really go into that. It deals with what happens afterwards.
I was just not a big fan of Darth Maul. That was just that was the main thing in the movie. I was just kind of you took me out of the movie, you know?
Honestly, if she hologrammed and talked to Jabba, that would have been more satisfying to me. He'd be like, oh.
Yeah. Well, see, Jabba's not like the Crimson Dawn Syndicate. Jabba's Jabba, right? So it's the Hutt.
Yeah. He's already part of it. Everybody knows who Jabba is.
Because we always know that Han Solo is very tied closely to the Hutts. Let's just have it be the Hutts, the Crimson Dawn, whatever.
The Hutts is the next movie.
You're right. They should just never have written the Crimson Dawn. It should never have been a question. It should just always been Dryden Voss speaks to the Hutts.
Yeah, because the Hutts are just a big Star Wars lore.
Yeah, I agree with that.
It was Maul because we're getting more Maul. We're getting more Maul in another movie, and that. So.
Maul to me only says Obi-Wan's coming up.
So, guys, having seen this movie, would you watch another Solo movie with Alden Ehrenreich?
I would, but I don't want to because I like this one
but
as
this
is.
Sets up future episodes.
No, I could go directly for me. I could go honestly directly from this into A New Hope without any issue.
I think that the mall scene just fucked that all up. Where I need to find out more. Like, what the fuck was he doing in this movie?
Yeah, Maul was just like bad Marvel. You know what I mean? Like it was just bad Marvel Easter egg for.
It was like fan service that didn't need to be there.
Maul should have been like a end credit sequence, which I know they will never do with the Star Wars film. DC said the same thing. Look at DC now. But I think the Maul really was more of an end credit sequence, and they put it in the middle of the movie, or not the middle of the movie, but they put it in the middle of the end.
I don't think they were ever going to do. Well, in credits is just that they're not doing that, so it's just like kind of they had to put it in the movie proper, and the only reason it's in there is to establish within the film canon that Maul is still alive.
So the movie then ends with, of course, the betrayal twist. Everyone's like, I saw it coming. Did you guys honestly think Tobias Beckett's betrayal of Han was not super foretold within the film's own narrative?
Yeah, it was very obvious.
It coming because the film told me it was.
I knew that was going to happen, and I kind of assumed.
And then you follow Han when
too.
he's all like, I kind of knew you were going to fuck me over, so that's why, I betrayed you, Tobias. But this is not all the coax. I was just like, I thought that was on purpose. Like, I thought that was supposed to be a lesson learned that the audience got. But people are actually using that as a negative towards the movie.
Well, yeah, it was like he said the line is like,
Let me give you some advice. Assume everyone will betray you, and you will never be disappointed.
Right. And then Han wasn't, because he assumed Tobias was going to betray
clever.
him.
Yes,
he's clever.
Han was clever. I liked Alden.
The whole character arc was him learning to shoot first.
It was.
And he does. And he fucking shoots Tobias first before he can even get off a fucking like whole soliloquy. It's just
I like that he runs to him and has like that moment with him. Even after he shoots him, he's like, yeah, because we're both thieves. We fucking both knew this was going to happen. So they still have that little bit like, you taught me a lot. Like that was nice. I like that. I like when, heroes and villains respect each other. I like that about Gangs in New York a lot.
Alden was very Nathan Drake. He was Nathan Drake, man.
For sure, Nathan Drake. But yeah, Gangs in New York too, Felk. I see that point. And that is a great one, because that's like different shades of gray, Gangs of New York.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then, Han, of course, after winning the day, whatnot, and it's clearly a Western genre film, and it's a great Western genre film. I loved how it was a play on Westerns. Han goes off to go win back the Millennium Falcon, or try to win it for the first time. And he does. He wins it fair and square because he plays Sabak properly without cheating for Lando with the green card.
See, the ending for me was the most crowd-pleasing moment that Ron got right. It was like, let's have some fun here at the ending. Like, let's leave you smiling.
Yeah.
Beat him fair and square, and Lando couldn't win. And it was like, I got you, son of a bitch.
Yep.
Like, fucking, like, suck my dick.
Yeah. Suck it.
All right, guys. I'm just surprised that, like, I have the lowest rating out of the three of us when, like, I clearly liked it. I thought Phil definitely would have a very low rating.
Yeah, it is kind of interesting. Yeah, you did have the lowest rating.
It sounds like
you hate Star Wars. It sounds like.
I was surprised how much I enjoyed it. I had a good time. I didn't have any social justice slammed in my face, except kind of as a joke. And also, I mean, come on, how many rebellions are led by 15-year-old girls? But other than that, like, those are really quick. And it respected Star Wars. It came from somebody. I mean, Ron Howard obviously knows that world and wasn't going to try to deconstruct the world the way Rian Johnson did, which it is weird to have a movie that just like kind of takes for granted that Star Wars is cool right after a movie that said Star Wars is not cool.
Yeah, I hear you.
Cool Boy Nation, just a little bit of the pasta being made or behind the scenes. Felk was like adamantly not going to see this movie. And I texted him after I saw it, go see this movie. And he was just like, why? Am I going to hate it or going to love it? And I was like, you might love it. But yeah, Solo is it feels like 80s Star Wars. It feels like Star Wars.
Exactly.
It feels like it's a tight storyline it's moving through the movie, and it's on its way, and we're in a galaxy far, far away, and I'm happy to do
They got the tone right.
It's a movie I will play many times in the future. I had a good time watching it.
I said it's the best Disney movie.
And I think my kids will love this Star Wars, honestly. The Solo film will be like right up their alley.
Super simple. Doesn't try to do much.
So, guys, unless anybody has anything else to say about the movie, we can move on to just ranking our Star Wars Stories films.
We already did that.
This is better than Rogue One.
I think it's better than Rogue One too.
I would also say this is better than Rogue One as well. So it goes Rogue One for me, and then number one spot is Solo. Done. We did it.
I actually would say this is better than some of my beloved prequels.
Oh, really?
Yes. Oh, this is better than all three prequels for me.
Oh, okay. Well, of course you guys say that. You think The Last Jedi is the third best Star Wars movie, probably.
It's the fifth.
This is better than The Last Jedi for me. This is on par with The Force Awakens with me.
Well, actually, this is better than Last Jedi, I think. Maybe this is sixth. This Last Jedi is now sixth.
Oh, definitely better than The Last Jedi.
Yeah, this is honestly on par with Force Awakens for me.
Yeah, me too. I think it's actually better than Force Awakens.
Oh, no.
I can't now think about Force Awakens without thinking about where does this go? Who's Snoke? Who's Rey's parents? What's going to happen to these characters? Are they just going to sit and whine for 2 hours? Now that part of what I liked about Force Awakens is where's it's going to go, and now where it goes is like down and fucking in the depths of hell. Is like it's hard to like look forward.
Okay, do we want to read this last? We got an email from Justin Ishard. He's reviewed The Last Jedi and Avengers for us, and both times he hated both those films. So do you think he'll like this film?
Of course not. I don't think. I don't remember. Has Justin Ishard, to our knowledge, ever liked a movie?
I don't think he's ever liked a movie.
Justin Ishard says, a pathetic excuse to crank out Star Wars content. Nothing was developed, only torn down. Iconic props like Han's blaster, a piece of junk tossed to him by Woody Harrelson.
What?
Han's last name? Get this! It was just given to him by a random Imperial guard who acted like Han was the first orphan ever to enlist. At no point did I feel anything for these characters or had any interest in what they were doing. The script sucked my... I can't read this. The script sucked my gorgeous cock. Thank you for that, Jonathan Kasdan. I couldn't even get a 2-hour break from Rian Johnson Bizarro World. Immediately, the film shoehorns in hyperfuel in the opening text. God fucking damn it! I'm so sick of this hyperfuel.
Wait, what other times has hyperfuel like surrounded us in film?
Isn't it Last Jedi? It's the gas in Last Jedi. Is that what he's referring to?
Oh, are they running out of hyperfuel and they have 6 hours of hyperfuel left?
Yeah.
Phantom Menace makes no mention of hyperfuel when they're stuck on Tatooine, right?
They never even mention fuel, like up to...
no, it's the hyperdrive. The hyperdrive's fucked up in Phantom Menace.
Yeah, the hyperdrive.
It's always something with the hypers.
No,
those hypers.
No one ever mentions fuel until Last Jedi. Why are you making these lazy pieces of shit that nobody wants? It's a heist movie without being an actual heist movie. There is no planning, no executing, nothing resembling an intricate Soderbergh caper or even the average Toy Story scheme. No heist stuff at all. The characters just show up with no plan and punch some people, then leave. It's fluff. There's also multiple poker scenes without being poker scenes. Nobody has any clue what's going on. It just glances, heavily implied butt sex, and then somebody wins whatever is in the middle of the table.
What movie did he see there?
Yeah, it's pretty, they explain.
That sounds like a fucking
on.
like a gay parody version of Rounders.
Alden Third Reich, well, that's dark.
What?
Is completely dull with no charisma. A wooden throwaway protagonist with no connection to the real Han Solo. Harrison Ford would refuse a blowjob from this joke, but I don't blame Alden's poor performance on his lack of acting ability. It's clear to me he knew this movie was headed for Shitonia.
Ooh. That's a
real place apparently. I like Fredonia.
I like Gaytonia.
It's like Estonia? He saw what happened to Hayden's career and did not want his blossoming young career torpedoed by a disastrous turn in the latest Star Wars debacle.
I don't like sand.
He faked his acting woes. Faked them, I tell you. So much the movie would be shut down.
Fake them? Oh.
But they got him an acting coach. Oof. Then Alden moved to Plan B. Accuse Lord and Miller of raping him in his trailer. The plan worked.
He really? I don't know. Did he really?
I don't know where Justin is.
He did, Noli? He did?
This is true. I think this is all real news.
The plan worked. But the show went on as Disney hired the greatest force of nature the film industry has ever seen, Ron fucking Howard. By all means, Ron Howard seems to have kept this film from completely falling apart. If what we got was an improvement over what Lord and Miller were making, I could only imagine how bad things were before God showed up. But even God was helpless to turn this ass of a script into a working film. Han conveniently speaks Wookiee. Chewie conveniently flies spaceships. Han's completely unnecessary love interest conveniently works for the villain. What are the odds? Nothing was clever. Everything was contrived and predictable. This movie should be called Solo, a convenient story. The Doom Cha.
I think you meant Doom Cha. It's not Cha. Doom Cha. That sounds like you're doing like fucking like jazz hands.
The Doom Cha. I'm going to say the Doom Cha from this point on. Doom Cha.
Thankfully, this movie doesn't have any overt feminist propaganda like The Last Jedi. Wait, just kidding. There is a fucking fembot bitching about droid rights for nearly an hour.
This is like a 4 or 6 paragraph tirade by Justin right now. This is a lot.
This is way longer than I thought it was.
Good job, Justin. Thank you, man.
Didn't the galaxy just endure a massive war against droids? I guess. But I digress. Every single one of L3's lines is an instant facepalm. And then, she implies she has sex with Lando, the newly anointed pansexual. What? And she has a razor blade for a penis.
Was that in the movie? I don't remember that.
Is that in the movie?
I don't remember that at all.
What series is this? Whose vision is this? I won't even get into the fact that the head marauder is a 14-year-old freckled-faced girl who I guess starts the fabled rebellion.
Justin's hard haze freckles.
No, she's a sect. She's a sect.
Yes, I thought so too. Oh yeah, Darth Maul is still alive. Jesus.
I know, really. If you haven't heard anything about Clone Wars or Rebels, how the fuck? That would just be like, what the fuck is going on? I thought he died. That would be weird. That would be really weird.
I still think it's stupid.
Jesus. Were they that desperate to appeal to fans that they had to sacrifice the memory of the best scene in the entire prequel trilogy just to give people a reason to see more Solo?
Absolutely.
One thing I liked in this movie was when Han shoots first. That was well done. Also, L3 dying was cool because I hated her so much. Otherwise, this movie was essentially digging up the dead corpse of Star Wars and fucking it over and over again until you're squirming in your theater chair.
I think Disney's gonna fuck Justin's Star Wars forever.
Just waiting to be excused like you would during Saturday school. Time to get ass naked and grease my gator to Gerard Butler films. Toodles.
Oh, Toodles.
Hashtag fire that skank. Who's this?
Oh, Kathleen.
The Kathy Kennedy?
Yeah.
2 out of 5 from Justin is hard.
Wow, that's a high score from what he just wrote.
Yeah, that's...
No, I saw that coming, but he's really hurt by fucking Last Jedi, clearly. And like it's like a relationship. Sometimes the bitches hurt, man. They fucking, and this was maybe one of those, relationships where Justin got hurt on I feel for you, buddy. And I think if you get enough Solos, you'll turn around.
I like the movie. I acknowledge a couple of his flaws. Name of the casting of the rebel girl was like, come on, that's not how wars are fought. But
no, she was ridiculous.
Yeah, but other than that, I liked it. I enjoyed what it put out.
I think that Star Wars films that have heavily implied butt sex are awesome, and Solo definitely has that based on Justin's review. That sounds great. I need more butt sex in my Star Wars films.
Da-dum-cha.
Cool Boy Nation, tell us what you think about Solo, a Star Wars story, by emailing us at thecoolboyspodcast@gmail.com. New episodes of the Cool Boys Podcast come out every Tuesday. Be sure to like and subscribe to us on iTunes, YouTube, SoundCloud, Twitter, and Facebook. And please rate and review us as well. You can also donate to us on Patreon, receive additional content like Cool Boys After Dark. It only costs $1 and you will receive special access to content too hot to air. You can find the Cool Boys on Patreon at patreon.com/coolboyspodcast.
And commentaries.
Yes, including a commentary, full syncable commentary for Fair Game. You sync that up with your VHS.
And Justice League gay porn and Big Guns 2 gay porn.
Sync those up with your VHS copies of all those great movies.
VHS copies of Justice League gay porn at Triple X parody.
Yep. It's great on VHS. Please check out our other great Cool Boy Central content with Batman and Beyond, the Cool Boys podcast on iTunes, SoundCloud, Google Play, and Patreon, where the Cool Boys have an uncensored discussion about Batman, the animated series, everything ranging from bat tips to bat nips, and all the boners they have given us. Thank you for listening. Stay cool, Cool Boy Nation. Till next time, it's Byzies from Female Guest, Felk.
And that's Byzies from Beckett Ballard.
And that's Byzies from Infus Ness Noli. Ooh, so Infus, so nesty. I like Infus Nest. Great costume. Great look.
Amazing design.
Love that
Absolutely
look.
great production design.
No one talked about Woody. Did we like Woody? I thought he was serviceable.
Tobias Beckett was great. And I saw it come in, his twist. I thought Woody was great. I thought Val was great. Danny Newton. I thought Jon Favreau was fine for Rio. I thought everybody was great. Like, I thought everyone did a great job at the movie.
I guess my final thoughts
was
were
a
this
good movie.
film felt a lot like A New Hope. Just breezy, light Star Wars with like a simple storyline and very like easy conveniences to make the plot go forward.
Yeah, absolutely. A plus B equals C, and they just kept moving down the line.
You are outstanding American boy.
You have excelled in all things.
I pump while I dump. Oh yeah.
So cool.
Oh yeah. So cool.
Oh yeah.
So cool.
Get out of here, damn silly. Get out of here.
Oh, yeah.
This episode of the Cool Boys podcast was brought to you by my gorgeous cock.
It's a
Cool Boys.
so serious.